Hopefully this works. Hey, what's up, guys? Ryan McGinn here with another testosterone boosting, strength training, muscle building interview. And today I got Dave Dellanave with me. He's a strength and conditioning coach out of Minneapolis, right? Right, Dave?
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. And he just released a new book, which I want to talk about a little bit later, called Off the Floor: A Guide to Total Deadlift Domination. Really comprehensive book on all aspects of the deadlift and choosing the right deadlift for yourself. But first off, Dave, thanks a lot for joining me. I know you're a busy guy right now. You just got married, so I don't want to take too much of your time.
Yeah,
but, what is
that's
your
correct.
what is your background? What got you into writing the most comprehensive guide on deadlifting? Like, how did that start?
Sure. So, I got into training kind of like probably a lot of people do. I sort of decided that I was done with mediocrity and just being average and normal and weak. And so I started training, and I think I picked up one of those Men's Health 16-week guides, 4 different cycles and all the workouts and everything. And I followed it super diligently. And then, and I got pretty good results. And then I started to do more and more research and learn more about training and all that stuff. And eventually it kind of led me down the road of being so passionate about it that I was like, okay, I want to open a gym. And so I opened a gym in Minneapolis, and then I opened a second one a year after that. So I have 2 facilities in Minneapolis right now. And kind of all along the way, deadlifting has been my pet. It's my favorite movement. I don't particularly like squatting or pressing. I just love deadlifting. I love picking heavy stuff off the floor, and I've gotten pretty good at it. I've pulled over triple body weight in 4 different variations: 600-pound conventional, sumo, and Jefferson, and just a little bit under that behind the back. So I've gotten decently strong, and I've learned a lot about it along the way.
What and how about, you said your conventional is over 600?
Yeah.
Awesome. And what's your body weight for those listeners, so they know how impressive that is?
So most of those were right around 185.
Okay, cool.
Most of those. My Jefferson was 202. I was putting on a little mass over that that winter, but nonetheless, 202. It was still triple body weight deadlift.
That's awesome. I myself, yeah. My best is 515 at 215. So I haven't pulled over 500.
That's solid
right
deadlift.
I'm about I weigh between 205 and 212 right now, and I think the last time I maxed, I failed 495, so it should be 475.
Okay.
So I lost a little strength when I cut some weight, but still pretty.
Sure,
I'm a big
happens.
fan of the deadlift. So awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. So
how can you not? Right?
Exactly. It's one of the most funnest lifts. And what do you see? Somebody walks in your gym. How your basic everyday guy who wants to just look better, lose some weight. A lot of my readers are highly interested in boosting their testosterone. They're between the ages of 35 to 50. So I really kind of got a handle on who watches my stuff and reads my things. So I like to really cater things towards them.
Sure.
So if just your average guy comes in, he works full time, he's got a wife, maybe a kid. How do you kind of start him off? Maybe he's never deadlifted before, or he's maybe afraid of it because he hurt his back.
Sure, or potentially has hurt his back before, maybe not deadlifting, or a lot of my clients that come in are exactly the person you're describing,
Mm-hmm.
And they may not have ever deadlifted, or seriously lifted weights. They may have had some back pain issues, stuff like that. The very first thing that I have every single client do, barring a severe issue, is deadlift. It's the first thing they do. We'll usually start out with kettlebell deadlifts, and once you can deadlift 100 pounds, then I have you switch over to the barbell, which seems to be a pretty good place to switch over. But yeah, we start everybody out on the deadlift, and even if somebody comes in and they says my lower back bothers me, what I do, and this is one of the things I talked about in my book, and it's really cool, is I use range of motion testing to figure out how they should change the position slightly. And within 5 minutes, I can have somebody going from that doesn't feel good on my back to, oh yeah, that feels great, no problem at all, and they're deadlifting right off the bat.
Nice.
I think it's really it's the best exercise you can possibly do. If you could only do one thing, which is silly, and you can't
Yeah.
ever only do one thing. But if you could only do one, it would be the deadlift. I mean, it works your, hands up your arms, your neck, all the way back down to your toes, like all the muscle in your body. Most importantly, and especially all the posterior chain muscles that, a lot of guys don't use because you're sitting in the office, you're sitting in the car when you drive home from the office, you're watching Sunday football, probably sitting in a chair, just way too much sitting down and not using those muscles. Exactly. So the deadlift kind of fixes that.
What are some common things that you see that people do wrong when they come in, when they first just grab the bar and they hit their baby? I mean, because obviously if they're not at your place, they're probably not. I mean, knowing most people are not going to go in and they're going to be embarrassed to lift 100 pounds, so they're going to want to start right away with a barbell. So at least that's how I would feel.
Right.
So how do you
exactly?
What kind of tips can you give somebody like that?
So the biggest thing is that people are not used to hinging at the hips. If you ask someone to lift something, they usually kind of just bend over, and you hear about it as lifting with your back, and that's not such a good thing because you definitely are putting more stress and strain through your spine. So the biggest thing is just honestly just accepting whatever your limit is right now and just doing it. Maybe it's embarrassing to not be lifting with the bar right away, but who cares? In 2 months, you're going to be lifting more than you ever imagined if you just start where you are and work from there. If you go in and you let your ego do the talking and you try to lift more than you can, and you do it with bad form because you're just not used to lifting that way, you are very likely going to hurt yourself. And in 2 months, instead of being stronger, more muscular, lifting with great form, heavier weight, you're going to be probably doing nothing at all because you hurt yourself and you gave up on another start at lifting heavy. So I think that's the biggest mistake a lot of guys make.
Yeah, it's the ego kind of gets in the way for in a lot of other areas too, I'm sure. But what
totally.
I mean, I know from personal experience. I mean, there really isn't anything more satisfying. I mean, I remember I was just talking about the other day with a buddy of mine. Like when I first walked in and I worked up to I had hit like a plateau in my lifting. I was following just a Flex magazine routine. I was like 18, 19 years old. Didn't really know any better. And I got stuck, and I think it was like 185, 190 pounds. And I was just there, and I was starting to get like bored of lifting. And then I remember like seeing like some jack dude in the gym, and he was always he would just deadlift, and he was like, he had like 4 or 5 plates on the bar. Yeah. I was like, he looked so, just bigger and like more fierce and meaner and like just way more confident. I was like, man, I gotta. So I kind of did my own research on deadlifting, and then kind of started back. And I remember the first day I pulled 315, and just the 3 plates on each side, like they kind of have that clank together when you pick them up. It's like
the rattle, yes.
Yeah, like,
yes.
And for people that listen to this that haven't experienced that, it's like that will change your life. I swear to God, that like the plates rattling when you're like, yeah. I mean, I remember after like a heavy deadlift day, I mean, I would just go out to the club and like talk to girls and like I'd be like, yeah, I'm like look like $1 million, I'm awesome, like because just your mental state was just you're ready to accomplish anything. So and that's another I think is a side benefit of the deadlift.
Oh, absolutely. There's no question that effect. Like, I mean, okay, look at it this way. The deadlift is, at its core, standing up tall against resistance, right?
Yep.
So how can it not make you stand taller in the rest of the world when you've just stood up with 300, 400, 500 pounds in your hands and you've stood tall and proud with it? How can that not make you, walk through the door with your chest up?
Exactly.
Right?
Oh, totally. By far, man. It's and I think people that tend to avoid the deadlift, like they don't experience that. I mean, it's cool. Like I mean, I'll be honest. Like I'm like the guy. I love doing like lat raises. I love the pump. I love doing a ton of arms, but nothing makes you feel better than when you hit a PR on the deadlift. I mean, in anything.
No. And and it's funny you say that because you're absolutely right. So it used to be, and you probably remember this, it used to be kind of the training bodybuilding lore that if you just squatted or deadlift and ate enough, you would grow everywhere, right? You remember that myth?
Yeah, there was a super squat.
Well, and the reality we know now, what's that?
That book, Super Squats, like, and then drink a gallon of milk. Squat, deadlift, and drink a gallon of milk.
Exactly. And what we know now is that in reality, that hormonal response from the big, huge compound exercises is good for a lot of reasons, but it's not going to make your deltoids grow.
No.
It's not going to make your forearms grow. So you're right to be doing those smaller isolation exercises to build up the body parts specifically that you want. But all the lat raises or lateral raises and, little tiny movements aren't going to give you that huge hormonal response that changes so many other things that the deadlift will. So you're right to do both, but definitely not neglect one of them.
Exactly. What type of frequency do you have do you have your clientele, and like what that you recommend? Are they doing once a week, twice a week, or is it just totally depending on the experience of the lifter?
So in general, we do once a week at our facility, maybe twice a week. Sometimes we'll do like Monday and Friday, something like that. I wrote the Off the Floor program as basically a 3 times a week deadlifting program, because I wrote it for the guy who wants to get ridiculously good at deadlifting, and nothing else is important. For most of my clientele, they're fine with deadlifting once a week. Usually we'll have Monday be the deadlift day, kind of just combat the, International Bench Press Day.
International Bench Day.
But,
awesome.
Yeah, but sometimes we'll even do it 3 times a week. At my place, you're always doing something big. So it might be one day deadlift, one day squat, and the third day like good mornings or something like that. So you're always doing those big compound exercises. So the short answer is you can do it once a week, or you can do it up to 3 to 5 times a week. And I'm a huge proponent of high frequency deadlifting.
Nice. And now I kind of go opposite spectrum here, because this is kind of one of my not concerns, but things that I worry about now. I mean, I've been lifting. I don't even know, man. It's been like 8 or 9 years, maybe even longer than that. And I've done amateur strongman competitions, and like I said, my max deadlift is like 515, 525, somewhere around there.
Yep.
I personally, and I don't know if I don't think it's gonna make it sound less man, but I kind of have lost the drive to get stronger as past that, because it's kind of like I don't really care anymore. I'm like, okay, and I mean I always lift. I'm pretty much a full-time cyclist. I ride a road bike all the time. And really, I'm strong enough to ride my bike fast, So it's like, so how would you say? So now it's like more or less, I've kind of shifted my focus into the more aesthetic appeal and kind of did a little more bodybuilding. But what I find is when I start focusing on the deadlift again, I really start like getting thick. And I mean, it's gonna sound really, really gay and metrosexual too. But all my clothes, like I get all my clothes tailored, like my dress shirts and things like that, and they start to not fit if I start deadlifting and heavy squatting again. So I don't know, how would you, knowing the benefits of deadlift, I always still want a deadlift, but so how would you take somebody like me who kind of gives you that scenario? Because I know there's other people out there that really,
that's interesting.
They want to be more dense, but not necessarily bigger.
Yeah.
So what's your recommendation there?
Well, as a guy who is, like I said, I'm a triple bodyweight deadlifter. And I'm like 185 pounds. I'm 5'10" and a half if I'm lucky. I'm not a very big guy, but I'm really, really incredibly dense. Like, I had suits tailored 3 or 4 years ago, and I've been training and getting amazingly stronger in those 3 or 4 years, and those suits still fit me.
Okay.
So, but like whenever I have any kind of soft tissue work or body work or anything like that, the people are always like, Jesus Christ, like your muscles are so dense and everything. And honestly, what I attribute that to is a lot of heavy reps, but not, like it's really hard because I do a lot of both, but working heavy, but not a ton of volume.
Yeah.
That seems like it's the kind of thing that makes you stronger and it adds density, but it doesn't make you as big, And I understand that some guys don't want to get bigger. Like listen, I think you should do exactly what you want to do and no one should tell you otherwise. So if you're like, I don't want to get bigger, then you're not wrong. Cool. Don't get bigger, like figure out how you can alter your training in such a way that it gives you the physique that you want.
Yeah. And that's kind of, that's just like where I'm at in my lifting now. It's like, because I've done, like I said, I've done strongman. I've lifted like stones. I've lifted, thick bar for 405 for reps. I mean, you're just like, I was at the point when I was doing strongman, I was like 230, I think, and now like I sit around 205 to 210 ish. I mean, so it's like I like how like I'm at now, but as soon as I start, like I'm a big fan of Wendler's 531. So like I'll start, you know,
Okay.
hit my new training max and then start for the next like 4 day week cycle. Next thing you know, man, my freaking my top buttons on all my tailored shirts don't fit me anymore. I'm like, shit. You know, because like that shit's
Yeah.
expensive.
Well, for sure, for sure. You know, part of that, it sounds kind of silly, but like, I don't have the patience or drive to eat that much. So, and I'm not one of these guys who's like impressed with how much he eats and like shows off to people. So I actually don't eat that much. And I think it's something that's contributed to me getting very strong, but with the least amount of extra size possible. Cause like to get bigger, you got to eat. You have to. And
Yeah.
I just don't have the patience for it. You know, if I can get 2 meals in a day, I'm happy. And I
Nice.
think that really has, you know, made me really strong for my size, but not as big.
Nice. And do you do any? I mean, are you doing any type of cardio, or do you recommend your like with your clients with this type of program? Or I mean, if you're deadlifting three
And
times a
for
week, you're
cardio,
probably
it's
not doing a whole lot of cardio. That's a lot of work.
no, it's like Jen Sinclair says, I lift weights faster for cardio.
Nice, good stuff. Awesome. Awesome. Well, so I mean, I don't want to take too much time. We're going to be going about 15 minutes, and for those listening, Dave managed to fit this in between leaving for his honeymoon, so I really appreciate that, and you guys should too. So definitely buy his products.
Oh, I'm happy to do it.
But
I'm
so
happy
tell
to
us.
do it.
I know we kind of spoke on about the, you know, throughout the, you know, our talk here, but what, you know, who is the program for? Who is off the floor really tailored to? I mean, who's going to get the most out of it?
So primarily, it's for the guy who wants to get impressive at deadlifting. Like not just, you know, I can pull 405 in a conventional, but like I can pick anything heavy off the floor. Like his response can be, yeah, I can lift that no matter what it is. That was the goal. You know, I've done a lot of strongman competitions. I've done a lot of different stuff, and I like being very well-rounded in my strength, and especially well-rounded in my deadlift strength. So that's, you know, who it's for. As far as like ability level, I tried to make it anywhere from the beginner to the advanced. And I honestly tried to do that. Like the descriptions for all the exercises are very simple. I think anyone can follow them. But the auto-regulated or biofeedback training program that I described in it can be used by like the most elite athlete to tailor their training. So I really think it's for everybody in that sense. But it's definitely not for you if you don't want to get stronger. You know, it's definitely not for you if you don't want any muscle on your body. It's for somebody who wants to be just a little bit more alpha.
Nice. And that is a lot of the guys listening to this, I'm assuming, are on that level of wanting to be more alpha. So, and also, what
Well,
is it?
I like that.
I was reading the, you know, the sales page and everything, and it's a really good, you know, for just coaches and everything too. Like it's not just written for like a trainer. I mean, you go really. I think.
Oh no, for sure.
How many pages is this thing? I remember. I think it's really chunky.
It's almost 100 pages in the main manual, and then there's a bunch of other content that comes with it. That I mean, it's probably well over 200 pages altogether.
Nice. Well,
I
awesome.
tried to. I'm not super wordy, so I tried to keep it concise and compact, and not, you know, write the same thing I could have written in 100 words and 300 words.
Yeah, I'm similar. I'm similar to you. My product's 101 ways to increase testosterone naturally. It's literally 101 tips, and I put it that way is because it's
Perfect.
really easy for people to digest. And I mean, I've had a couple people get mad at me because like it's only like 42 pages. It's like, well, I mean, I could have made it 100 if I double spaced it. Would that made it better?
Yeah, how much time do you want to spend reading it? Like,
Yeah.
time is money.
So, but that's good. I mean, and I think that's it. And it's on. It's $39 or $49 right now?
You know what? So it's $49 right now, but I'm literally waiting for the approval for them to let me raise it to $99 because I said I was going to raise it after my wedding launch sale.
Nice.
So it's $49 basically until I get the approval to raise the price, and apparently I have to just wait till they lift the limit. So it could change to $99 at any time. So if anyone's kind of on the fence of taking advantage of it, I would say jump on it because it could change any minute.
Awesome, man. And once to get access or learn more about Dave's book, the link under this video will take you right there to his sales page, and you can read about his product, a little more about him. But you've also been featured on tons of, I mean, you've been writer for Men's Fitness, a lot of big publications. Who all have you written for?
Teen T Nation, Men's Health, Men's Fitness. Yeah,
Nice.
a lot of the big ones.
So he's a very trusted resource to listen to in this industry. So, well, first off, Dave, thanks again for your time, man. I appreciate you hopping on and
Yeah, thanks
taking
for
this 20 minutes or so to chat with me and my readers.
thanks for the opportunity, Ryan. Really appreciate it. Glad to talk to you guys.
Awesome, man. One more thing, guys. Just click the link below. Learn more about Dave and his program, Off the Floor. I really think you should pick it up if you're even remotely interested in expanding your knowledge on the deadlift and getting stronger, because it is by far one of the most comprehensive resources I have ever seen on this topic. So thanks a lot, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Hang on, Dave.